Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session about paranoia. And I think sometimes words become labels, and these labels get thrown around where they're inherently put into a category of being negative or bad in some way. And I would say that paranoia is one of those labels. That if you think about what paranoia really is about having a suspicion, having some kind of belief that there is a possible agenda against you. And of course, paranoia is linked to, let's say, extreme paranoia. And that could be people with delusions and, really almost conspiracy theorists and really harsh perceptions of what other people want to do to them. But at its core, paranoia is to keep you safe. It's just a combination of anxiety and suspicion. But here's the thing, although it's lovely to believe that we live in a world where people are good and people have your best interests at heart, that isn't always the case. And I have this belief that most people are good. Most people want to help other people and do good things for people. But there are always a few people that have an agenda, and that agenda might be to exploit or take advantage. So having a healthy level of paranoia, I actually think is a very good thing. And the question then is, how do you get the balance right? And for me, my default is to trust people. But, and there's a very big but to withdraw that trust the moment someone proves they are not worthy of that trust. Now, I would say this is in a business or a work environment or a social environment, the default is to trust. It's different if you're dealing with an entity. If you're in a tourist place known for people, with scammers and con artists, then I would say the default there would be to be vigilant rather than trusting people. So it's contextual, but generally I think it's a good thing to trust people, but not do that blindly. If you see evidence that someone is deceitful or they absolutely have done something that would be good for them and bad for you, then at that point, it is a healthy thing to do, to be paranoid of that person, to no longer trust that person, to be suspicious of that person. And I was working with a client who generally was in a situation where they needed to trust people at that point in time for financial reasons and practical reasons. They needed to trust people. And that can feel scary. That can feel vulnerable, particularly if in the past, when you did trust someone, that was taken advantage of. Is very difficult to do. So therefore, this is a two-pronged attack in this particular hypnosis session to have that ability to trust people, particularly those that have demonstrated good intentions, to have that trusting default, but being very quickly to change that if needed, but also to create the foundation of a life where you don't need to be dependent on other people. And when I was in my early 20s, that was my last job. My last job was when I was 23 years old. I set up my own business. And the reason I'm very passionate about wealth creation is because I think I'm deeply untrusting of not people, but of entities, organizations, and things like that. So I don't believe, for example, that the government has my best interest at heart. I think it's politicians that have their own agendas. So therefore, if I really believe that, it makes sense for me to structure my life in such a way where I'm not dependent on the government or not dependent on organizations, that I am more independent and self-sufficient. So you can call that paranoia, or you can call that a feedback loop so that you can structure your life in the way that you want. So this hypnosis session is entitled, or titled, I should say, a positive paranoia. And it's designed to extract the utility out of paranoia without thinking that everything is suspicious and everyone has an agenda. That is just as untrue as the opposite belief that nobody has an agenda and everyone can be trusted. The ideal balance is in the nuance, it's in the shades of grey. And I think a natural belief that's helpful is that most people are worthy of trusting, but some people aren't. And therefore, to be discerning is to figure out the difference. And therefore, that positive paranoia can almost become an intuitive superpower for you to have the warning signs when they're most helpful. Appreciate this might sound a bit of a ramble, but I'm one of these hypnotherapists that don't like to put things like people will put anger and anxiety and say they're negative emotions. No, all emotions are useful in the right context. The art is to find the right emotional resources for the right context to have them working for you rather than against you. This was created for an individual person. If you feel that maybe you feel a bit too anxious or a bit too paranoid and you feel like you want to find the sweet spot for you, the middle ground that's actually useful for your life, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule a free consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a feeling of calm relaxation. And as you exhale, just get a sense that you're able to let go. To let go of a thought, a feeling, an idea that may not be in your best interests. Give permission to let go of anything that is impeding the quality of your life. So breathe in relaxation and exhale tension as you feel a sense of release. Allow your body to sink deeper and deeper relaxed. And just get a feeling of drifting to a place where you feel safe and protected. As you breathe in and breathe out, allow yourself to let go and relax. And imagine drifting back all the way back in time, in your current body, but going back to a time to someone that you trusted would keep you safe, that you trusted had your best interests at heart. And I want you to think of that person, that even if that person isn't around anymore, imagine them when they were at their very best. See their face, their smile, but more importantly, scan your body for how you feel, to remind yourself how to feel safe, how to feel intuitive feelings of trust that were warranted because that person was worthy of that trust. I want you to remember their voice. And if you can recall their voice and their tonality, just let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to allow that voice to now become a part of your inner dialogue, to enable this warm, loving, protective voice to be a guardian of you. This voice will now become part of your intuition to keep you safe. Not a voice of fear, but a voice of love and protection. Meeting the intention of protection, but delivered in a way where you feel safe rather than vulnerable. I want you to imagine a place nearby to this person. Maybe a sofa, a bed, something comfortable and relaxing, but keep that voice nearby. And as you imagine sitting on that comfortable, relaxing thing, notice how, because you feel safe, you breathe even deeper, you feel even calmer, and just imagine drifting deeply down, deeper down to your subconscious mind, a place where change happens sometimes effortlessly. So your eyelids get heavier and heavier. Any tension in your forehead, your jaw, your neck, or your shoulders starts to relax. And very soon, I will count down from 10 to 1, and you will imagine gravitating deeper down. 10, just sinking into a balance of peace and focus. 9, feeling safe, protected, and yet in control. 8, becoming more in tune with your instincts. You've quietened down one voice and replaced it with something that feels protective yet loving. 7, sharpening your ability to notice what truly matters. 6, more relaxed now as you release tension, but keeping your mind awake and aware. 5, feeling comfortable and at ease, but also deeply discerning. As you realize that discerning is noticing the difference that not everyone notices. 4. Feel like you can see things clearly, effortlessly. The ability to see things as they actually are. Not better than, but not worse than. Just as it is. Like information. 3. Feel a deep trust in yourself forming. And 2. Start to awaken an unshakable sense of inner wisdom. And 1. Start to feel like you're completely in tune with your intuition, your intelligence, and your ability to navigate the world. Recall that protective yet loving voice, and start to imagine that voice as a guardian inside you. A part of your mind that has always been looking out for you, keeping you safe and scanning for risks. This part of you has good intentions, but at times, when it was a different voice, may have been overactive, hypervigilant, seeing threats where none existed, feeling unsure of who to trust. But now it's time to fine-tune this guardian, to transform it into something far more powerful and useful. Because the strongest, most capable people in the world are not blind to risk. They don't trust blindly, nor do they live in fear. I want you to get a sense that what if the ideal balance was positive paranoia, a sharp of a sense of discernment that allows them to trust when trust is earned, and to change course the moment something feels wrong. So now feel like you are activating that incredible power we can call pragmatic awareness. So imagine this guardian within you, transforming, evolving, upgrading into a calm, strategic advisor with that voice that you know you can trust. Try it now. Those same fears and worries you've been having, hear it in that voice. A loving, calm, protective voice that only has your best interests at heart. Kind of voice that allows you to trust as a default, but also withdraw that trust instantly if it's no longer deserved. Because there's a part of you that feels anxious, sometimes even if you can't find a good enough reason. But I want you to instead to feel that this loving part is becoming more discerning, not scared of maybes and unlikely events, but able to decipher the noise to give you clear, intelligent signals about what actions that need to be taken. So feel that shift happening now. Feel that panic, paranoid part evolving into that kind, loving, protective part. But imagine that part knowing the difference between agendas and malicious intentions and just ignorance or lack of planning. That part knows the difference. And maybe that part communicates through inner dialogue guiding you. Or maybe it's a gut feel that you can feel in your body. Wouldn't it be good to trust your gut and know that it's right, rather than just being afraid of shadows? Because you don't need to live in fear, because now you're becoming more aware and more in control. Your first reaction won't be that someone has tried to deceive you or manipulate you. It will be that there is a simple explanation. But if you get a sense, either through evidence or consistency, feel free to upgrade and update that thought of that person to put them in that category of someone not worthy of your trust. Feel that your mind is no longer burdened by unnecessary worries. Instead, feel it becoming clear, sharp, and prepared. Feel this new inner strength awakening and locking into place now. I want you to imagine yourself, perhaps just a few weeks from now, a version of you that is embracing this middle ground, not paranoid of everything, but not recklessly naive, just the right amount of paranoia so it's positive and useful for you. See that version of you that is moving and talking and acting with a calm confidence. Go further into the future and see a version of you that has designed and created a life where you are less vulnerable, a life where you are less dependent on others. See a version of you, perhaps a year or two from now, that has built real security, financial, emotional, mental security. They are still you, but in your future. What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? What do they do to reduce risks, to know who to trust and who not to? And what kinds of people do they surround themselves with? And when you're confident that this future version of you has just the right balance of paranoia to keep them safe, let me know by nodding your head. And then step into this version of you now. Feel what it's like to walk through life with trust, but also wisdom. To feel trusting, but also discerning. To know that you are safe, not because you are paranoid, but because you've designed your life in a way that reduces and minimizes risks. I want you to make an evaluation that the point of paranoia is not fear and hesitation and avoidance. It's to unlock actions, decisions, courage. I want you to feel that you are now able to make the right moves today to steer your future so it becomes stronger, more independent, and more protected. That you are becoming your own guardian, that as trust in you increases, your dependency on others naturally reduces. Consider your default a sense of calm trust. But at the same time, the moment someone reveals themselves as unworthy of that trust, you change without hesitation, without emotion, just pure, effortless certainty. You can trust, and you can decide when not to. You make that decision. And you can always reverse it if someone then becomes worthy of your trust again. If they fool you once, fool on them. If they fool you twice, it means they are no longer worthy of your trust. You protect yourself with discernment and boundaries, but also courageous actions to become less and less dependent. As you breathe in that trust, feel that you are protected by that voice, that loving, wise, caring voice to help you on this journey. You are no longer alone. You have a part of you inspired by someone of your past with you on this journey. But it's time to return to the present, taking these feelings with you. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. As you wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, you begin to return to the present moment, but bringing back all the clarity, wisdom, confidence, and self-trust that you've just activated. And more importantly, you will take back a voice of positive paranoia that is loving and caring and protective, but never becoming overprotective. Starting to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.